I told you. I tried to tell you. I have a PhD in AB history. I was a former advocate. I know game when I see game. And I had a couple cats, man. I don't agree with your take, man. I think it's a system. I think the NFL system is. The Bucks they did him dirty. Y'all fell for it, and you got your jaw on the ground. It's okay to pick it up. It's okay to admit you were duped. You were bamboozled. You were played. He played the race card. He made the ankle the issue, but it wasn't the issue. It was a issue. The ankle was never the issue. And think about it. That happened on Sunday. It took him and his camp 3 days to break their case on the story that it was the ankle. Why did it take 3 days? They had to scramble and come up with something because they knew eventually something was going to come out. The truth was going to come out. This was never about the ankle. It was about money and incentives and feeding his ego. I don't know if he bipolar. He was off his meds. I don't know. But he turned on Brady. And he did it on this podcast. And if you watch the podcast, there's certain times where the interviewers are asking him questions and they're trying to really be as cautious with AB as possible. But he was triggered and annoyed. And then that's when he started going off and throwing his former teammates under the bus. I mean, he's talking like Chris Godwin is a slouch. Chris Godwin has 98 catches on the year, and he's already out for the season with a torn knee. He could have had 2 more catches away from 100 yards in December. Gronk is on the NFL 100 all-team. He's talking like Gronk is a scrub. It's like the animosity was there the whole time. See, the difference was last year, the Bucks didn't need AB. People were already saying they were a super team. This isn't fair. Oh, Brady went to the most stacked roster in the league. Adding to AB was icing on the cake, gravy on the turkey. Okay? They didn't even have him in the NFC title game when they played the Packers. He was icing on the cake. The moment he realized they needed him, and he did it more than, he needed them because he wanted that money. But the moment he realized they needed him more than ever, he showed his ass. And if you look at the timeline, December 19th, they play the Saints. Everyone gets hurt. No one's being forced to play through an injury. The way it was, Bruce Arians is forcing players to play through injuries. Then where has Leonard Fournette and those boys been since? Because they haven't played. Okay? So Godwin gets his knee torn up. The next day, they put out an MRI result that it's torn. He's done. AB gets on Twitter and puts out, be careful. He says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Because at that point, him and his agent figured, okay, well, y'all need AB more than ever. How about just guarantee the entire $2 million contract instead of him earning it the way he's supposed to based off what he signed up for, the incentive contract. He signed that contract. You signed up for that contract. And they wanted the whole money guaranteed. The moment Jason Light and the Bucks said we can't do that, we can't restructure the deal last minute just because circumstances have changed, that's when AB got mad. And that's when he started tweeting out, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, put respect on my name. And then he says, you never know when you're gonna need people. Be careful how you treat them. He was talking about the Bucks. And this was the same day Godwin's injury was announced. But you take it back even further, he was really upset because he felt they didn't support him when he got suspended. Remember, Arians got pressured by the media, the woke media. Oh, this isn't right. This guy should be cut. Bruce Arians waited and waffled around until the last minute to admit they knew they weren't gonna cut him, but he had to prove a point for his ego because he has this ego of being a tough, hard-nosed coach and no BS, and he had to try to play that. So he compromised himself and waited. And AB looked at that as, oh man, y'all don't really love me. Y'all, pushing it to the limit like that. This was all about that. This was never about no ankle or some racial systematic driven narrative. It was never about that. Now, when you get to Brady, and I know some people be like, well, I didn't like how Brady pushed the mental health narrative. People been talking about AB having mental health issues since Pittsburgh. Brady didn't come up with that narrative. That been out there. The man had him living in his house at one point. You don't think he knows him better than you do? I'm pretty sure Brady knows AB better than the average person, including myself. Even if they were roommates for a little while, I'm pretty sure he knows him more than we do. I mean, I don't think he's making that up. Uh, but the bipolar, you see the issues with AB though. I don't see how you don't. And there's a lot of people who were defending that earlier this week. Who AB let the cat out the bag. The camp came together and did everything they could to put a spin on this story to make him look legit and innocent and victimized, really. And people fell for it. And it's really a trend in society because it's not just AB. This is Jussie Smollett. This is LGBT in that Dave Chappelle saga. This is Meg Thee Stallion, Bubba Wallace, the Noose. This is all, everybody wants to be a victim now. And a lot of people in society with poor judgment of character fall for it. I knew that he was running game. I've been around long enough. I know game when I see it. You know what I mean? But his camp came up with that, had people on social media buying into it, and then he goes on this podcast and puts his foot in his mouth and basically exposes the real problem. It was never about that ankle. Jumping jacks, people like, well, he was on Tall Dog. Of course, he couldn't feel the pain. Dude. And here's how you know it was all planned, going back to those texts, and the girl with the whole thing, him telling her, you watch what I see, wait till you see what I do tomorrow at the Jets game. They're in New York. You're in the biggest media market of the country. He went to New York, and instead of flying back home to Florida, you stayed in New York so that you could do a media tour run, basically. He went to the Nets game. You hung out with rappers. You put out a music video. He's doing media run. This was all planned out. AB played everybody. But he ended up playing himself because you ended up, instead of getting $1 million that you could have got if you just kept your nose straight and caught 5 more passes, you could have got $1 million. Instead, you didn't get any. Now you lost $2 million and you're not going to get anything. The Bucks basically cut him and don't owe him a dime. So he didn't win anything. All he got out of this was publicity and some streams for his new song, Pit in the Palace, which I do think is probably his best song he's put out. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. It's better than the other ones he's dropped. But yeah, AB was running game, dog. And a lot of people owe apologies to a lot of people. And a lot of people don't want to admit that they've been duped. I get it. You got an ego. We all kind of do. But you got played. This was never about some big racial thing. And, it's going to be a big investigation. NFL Films better leak out that sideline tape. They show Brady throwing a tablet. Why does he get mental health? It's not. Give me a break. Yeah, cut it out, dog. At some point, your resume and your history does follow you. It does. And I don't care about this vaccine stuff. But if somebody will lie about a card and come up with a fake doctor to verify it in the whole nine, you think they're going to tell the truth about anything else? You're a fool for believing in that shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, throwing Brady, like I said, I don't care if you hate Brady, you think Brady's a plant, he's this, he's that. I don't believe in betrayal. I don't rock with that. Betrayal is one of the worst feelings in the world. Betrayal, disappointment. Nobody deserves to go through that, especially when you've been good to somebody. And when somebody looked out for you, got you into he's acting as if, because people have this impression that Brady's the general manager. He's not. Jason Light is. Does he have some influence on personnel, and has he been able to bring some of his guys? Of course. But he's not in charge of nobody's contract. Brady can't say, hey, I want this guy to make $9 million. He makes $15 million. Brady don't have that much power where he can, come up with your contract. Come on now. Now that's far-fetched, but that's what AB was saying. He's like, yo, if I'm the best player, if I'm your boy, why I'm not getting the highest salary? And it's like, oh, see, you told everybody how you really feel. Gronk's not even the highest paid guy on the roster. Nobody, a lot of these guys on this team took pay cuts, and that's how the Bucks were able to bring all their free agents back. Everybody took somewhat of a pay cut. A lot of guys are paying on work or playing on deals. If they could pay for, Shaq Barrett could have went anywhere and got way more money. Put it like that. But when AB, you look at AB, when you've lost almost $40 million in the last 3 years, yeah, I would be bitching about money too. Because you fumbled the $30 million with the Raiders, fumbled that bag, Fumbled about another $6 million with the patch. That was a $15 million deal. He got 9 of it. The rest he didn't get. And then you just fumbled $2 million just now. So he's losing money. You know, I don't see what he's really winning or gaining out of this shit, honestly. But yeah, I'm just the type of guy to say I told you so. And yeah, I told you. He was running game from day one. I think he's still in New York. He hasn't left New York since Sunday. You know, he knew he was going to show his ass. They wasn't going to guarantee me the money. I'm a show out. Look, he was already acting up at halftime before the third quarter. He's sidelined. He's all the way isolated by himself. He's pouting. They show Brady walk over to him. He ignores him. Next thing you know, he's out of there. So it is what it is. Hopefully this story dies. And there's no more updates. I guess they took a week. They took the weekend off for the AB story because this has been crazy. But yeah, AB basically let the cat out the bag. If I was his lawyer or his agent, I just would be like, yo, why would you even do a podcast? Like, they can't even depend on him to go represent himself on an independent podcast without saying something stupid. They did their best job to create the narrative to make people sympathize with him based off the race card, the way the NFL system works. They had people believing in that, and he still messed it up. I don't know, you know? But yeah, that's it, man. Hit that thumbs up if you watched the whole thing. I'm out.